So there's our generic cylinder, but it doesn't look very whimsical. So to make it more whimsical, we're going to be using either curved lines or curves that are not symmetrical. So first, let's just try curves. I'm going to do the same cylinder. We're going to curve it over to the side. Already more fun. But this is just an even curve. If we change the curve to have the highest point unevenly, it's going to make our shape even more whimsical. So I'm going to change that to a asymmetrical curve. But there's more whimsy that we can add if we change the sizes of the top oval and what would be the bottom oval if we could see the whole thing, so that we can get it to taper. So if I had an oval at the top, but a bigger oval at the bottom. Oh, I think Karen's here. Let's let her in. We're going to get more of a cone shape.
Hey, you're not Karen.
Oh, no.
You're definitely on, darling.
Nice to see you.
It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, well, it's been exactly the same amount of time, I think.
I think of you periodically when we danced at somewhere. They were playing.
I think of you when I see a train.
Thank you. Anyhow, I'll put my better half on here.
Well, thanks for fixing up the visuals.
No worries. You take care.
Hi, better half.
Oh, she said hi, better half.
Okay, hello.
Hey there.
Oops. All right. And I'm visible.
I know, this is great. We can actually see your pretty face now.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
This is much more fun.
Where'd my other thing go?
I don't know where the. Got a piece of paper.
Ballpoint pen is your key for today.
All point pen?
All point pen. You can use pencil if you want, but we're all using oh my gosh, can't speak. Ballpoint pen.
I've got it. Okay.
So we can try a few more, trying to add some whimsy and character by using those curved lines.
Good.
Thank you.
I want you to go ahead and fill up this entire practice paper.
Hit the upper square in the middle between the minus and the X and see if your screen gets bigger. Yeah.
With different wobbly, wiggly cylinders. You'll notice I'm making mine see-through so you can see both ovals on either side, but when I'm doing my final drawing, of course, normally we would erase some of that, but since we can't erase, I'm just going to be darkening in the lines that I want to keep. But I won't know that until I decide my horizon line. You don't need a red pen like I have, but I just wanted to have it a separate color so that it's easier to see. We're going to be doing a little bit of perspective when we draw our houses, so we need to know that our horizon line is going to decide whether our curve goes up or it goes down for our final drawing. So anything that's above this line, we're going to curve up. So I'll just darken in that line that I want to keep. Anything below the horizon line, we're going to keep the lower side. So after you've drawn some of your wiggly shapes to practice, oh, there's Stephanie, let me let her in. I want you to go ahead and practice putting your horizon lines above your little house shape, in the middle, below, and just for practice, try to get, if it's above, doing the top curve, if it's below, bottom curve, and just darken in that shape that you're keeping. Are you connected, Stephanie? Can you hear us?
Yes.
All right.
Stephanie?
Hi, guys.
We're just starting with some funny looking cylinders and practicing with the horizon line. Anything above the horizon line, you're going to darken in the top curve when it's above. And then anything below, you're going to do the bottom curve. And that would be the shape that we want to keep. And if we were working in pencil, we'd erase that stuff in there, but we're not going to worry about it. Do this for about 2 more minutes and then we'll move on to our next step. And if you get stuck on any of these shapes, you're not sure which curve you're supposed to darken in, just show it to the camera and I'll help you out.
And the sidelines stay dark. Sidelines are
Yep.
always.
Sidelines are always going to be dark, yep. What we're looking at is that straight ones are boring. And the more you curve it and the more you make it wiggly and kind of bobbly, the more whimsical it will be. just one more minute.
I'm drawing lampshades and all sorts of things that I recognize.
All right, then we're going to add some windows to these shapes. Zoom in here, focus, focus. So I'm going to start with an oval over here and an oval over here. Those will just look like stickers until we add some thickness or cut away the center from these windows. But it has to be done on a certain side, otherwise the illusion doesn't work. So on the right side, I'm going to leave the crescent moon on the right. If it's on the left, I'll leave a little crescent moon of thickness on the left. If you happen to forget and you have a ring nearby, I have a ring that's silver on the inside and purple on the outside, so if I just tilt the window to that side, you can see the inside of the ring on the right side. And if you tilt it to the left side, you can see the inside of the ring on the left side. So that kind of helps me every once in a while when I'm not sure which way things should go. So we've got all these lovely, wonderful, wonky shapes. And we know which side the thickness goes on, but some of these have some pretty severe side angles. So how do we draw? We can't draw a window straight up and down if the edge is so curved. So you can practice on your shapes matching the same angle as the side line. So over here, if I'm drawing a window, I'd have to angle my little window that way. And if I'm on this one over here, I'll have to angle my window that way. But if it's up here, angle my window that way. You can add a few windows to your shapes and add the thickness for about 2 minutes. Just about 1 minute left.
It's going up for us.
Okay. All right, next we'll add some doors. You can either do square doors or rectangular sized doors, but they do have to follow that outside contour. Or you can do some arch doorways. And we're going to do the same thing. Think about the thickness. Is it going to be on the right or on the left? If it's more on the right, then I'll put my thickness on the right. If it's more on the left, then I'll put my thickness on the left. For the square doors, you have the added line right in the corner to show where that angle changes. And I keep coloring them, but honestly, if you just put a little doorknob, it could be a closed door. You don't have to darken it in all the time. So let's throw some doors on our little practice houses here.
Now, are those lines curved or they're pretty straight, aren't they? They're just at
On
an
this one, it's straight because this part's straight. But on this one, it was more curved, so I'm curving them a little more on this one.
Okay, follow the outside end.
Yeah, so you're mostly following the outside edge. Like this one I don't like because it's too straight up and down when this one is like curving. Should have curved it more that way. But it's just practice, so let's make our mistakes right now.
Betsy, that middle lower house, where's the horizon line?
Middle.
No, not there.
Let me number them. This one, the bottom row?
Bottom row, middle.
Middle row.
Oh,
No.
it's above the house. I see it. So the whole thing, the whole roof is dark. I see.
Okay. I'll number these for future reference.
That way the window is straight out at you too, huh? I see.
Alrighty, I'm going to share my screen for a moment so we can take a look at our inspirational artist for the next 2 months. This is Edwin Remrev. He designs buildings and like props and things for different feature films. So if you want to look him up on Instagram, that's him right there, Rhemerev. But he does a lot in just pen, just straight up pen. He doesn't mess with pencil at all. And you can see that he even leaves some of his perspective lines perfectly visible. So it's okay that we can't erase. You can see even on her leg, that hammock line that goes right through her leg. It's going to be okay. Don't worry if you come to a spot where you go, oh no, my line's going to show through that other shape. It's going to be okay. What he's doing and what we've been doing also is just thickening up the lines that we want to keep, and then those thinner lines will recede. So we need to start by drawing very lightly with very thin lines, very light pressure, and then we can build it up as we go. So we're going to do a little island house. Not exactly like this one. We're not going to try to copy it. We're just taking some ideas. So we've got palm trees, hammock, some rocks, little fishing pole catching something down there. And we can see the horizon line is very low. The horizon line being where the sky and the sea meet. Very, 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 very low. So that's our inspiration for the day. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and come back to my paper, get a new piece of paper. Maybe zoom out a bit. There we go. So I'm going to start with a very, very, very light horizon line near the bottom of my paper. So that's where the sea and the sky are touching. So my island needs to go below the horizon line in the sea, but it can also come a little bit above the horizon line. So we're going
horizon line halfway through your paper or the bottom?
Lower than half. Half is about here. I'd say a quarter down.
Okay.
Or 3/4 down, actually. A quarter up. So I'm going to use very, very shallow curves for my island. I'm also going to sneeze. No, one away? Okay. So there's where my island is dipping down into the water. And then it's also going to raise up and above. Very lightly, just dragging your pen around. And then we're going to divide where there's just sand and where there's grass. So I'm just going to do a very light wiggly line, just kind of bouncing up and down all the way around. And you can come back in and darken any of those lines that you like and you want to keep. And then if you want to add a little seashell or something on the beach, on the sand, go ahead and doodle that. There's Michaela, and let her in.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Greetings.
So then our house is going to be built on a palm tree. So I'm going to have that palm tree not going straight up, but kind of leaning out to the side just a little bit. Nice thick trunk to hold up a hut. Probably impossible for this palm tree to have root support in this tiny little island, but that's okay. It's whimsical. I'm going to stop it, just after a little bit of trunk and start putting in the platform that my house is going to sit on. I'm going to pick a line there for the front, and I'll do that exact same line a little lower for the back side. And then I'll choose an angle to connect the two. And that angle, we're just going to copy and paste it over here. We can have our tree going through a hole right in the floor there. Right now it's just a piece of paper. We have to add some thickness. So we're going to add a couple little lines on each corner. And then we'll take basically those same lines and put them on top. So this one I'm just following the bottom one, adding it to the top. Now we have a little platform there. But to hold it up, we're going to need some kind of bracing. So I'm going to use some diagonal lines to show where some kind of brace has been put on there.
Excuse me.
And where it meets the actual board, I have to match the front and the back. I'm going to do that flat line there. Maybe there's one on the other side too, but we're not going to make them the same. I don't want to make it symmetrical. Whimsy is all about uneven, different on either side kind of deal here. So I'm going to put this one over here. Skinnier, different angle. And if you want to put one more in front, you can have a teeny tiny little line going in the same direction and brace that right in the front. And now we finally get to the actual house. So I'm going to leave a little bit of space on the left side here and start my wall over here. And you can curve it and make it however shaped you want. I don't think that's proper English, but that's all right. Pick your side walls. And because we are above the horizon line, we're going to have a curve at the top. And you can curve that however you like. And the reason I left some space on the left is that we can add a little bit of an awning over the window. So I'm going to take this general direction of the side of the platform there and stick it up here as like a piece of, I don't know, bamboo or something. Palm wood.
Which line are you using there, Betsy?
This one, the side.
The side? Okay.
Yep. Lucky for us, it doesn't really matter. You can do the angles wonky because it's whimsical. So there's a rod, and I want to attach a piece of fabric to it. And to hold that fabric out, I'm going to need another kind of support. So this angle doesn't matter. You can do straight up and down, although that would be boring. Or you can lean it outward. They can be at different angles, but the closer one has to be taller, and the one that's farther back has to be shorter. That's the only rule there. And then I'll drape my fabric from there to there. We'll see a little bit of the underside here before it goes up and attaches over there.
Okay, that doesn't work for me.
Doesn't
Look,
Let's take a look. Let me pin your video. You just have to curve your nearer side a little bit more. The back curve is great, but your front one got a little straight, so if you just curve it down a little bit more, it should
got it. Like that. Okay.
just darken in the one you want to keep.
Okay. Okay.
Then we'll add a little window under here. So I'm going to do like a little rounded rectangle window, but you can do an oval window, you can do a square window, you can do whatever window you want. But we know because it's on the left side, the thickness is also going to go on the left side. Then I'll put my door. You can either put it in the middle or near the other side. That's up to you. Because it's on the right side, we know the thickness goes on the right. And then we'll add a roof. We're going to do like a thatched grass or palm leaf roof. So I'm just going to generally sketch out my roof shape. And it doesn't have to be even. It's better if it's not even. So make one side or the other droop a little bit. Then we'll start adding some texture. So you can do a grassy texture or a choppy texture, however you like. You can add some layers in there. And then we're going to add a little more detail to the actual wall structure. Right now we don't know if it's made out of clay or wood or what. So let's go back to our inspiration drawing for a moment and take a look at the simple ways that he's making this cut look like it's made out of wood. So he's got a couple lines going vertical, a couple lines going horizontal, a couple lines going vertical. You guys can see my cursor, right? I'm not just saying things. Okay, yeah, all right. And then on the other side too, he's got a couple of vertical lines and horizontal lines and vertical. So he's just switching them back and forth. And also on his doorway, he has a little door frame. If you want to add a little door frame, some thickness, you can try that out. Really? And he's also added some stripes to his awning. Was there a question? Did I miss a question?
I said that's really cute.
Right? Yeah. Nice little whimsical drawing. And since this person probably didn't pick up the wood at Home Depot, they're probably going to be different sizes, not fit together perfectly. It's fine if there's little gaps. And if you feel like you're losing the shape of your window or your door, you just come back in and make those lines a little bit thicker so that they'll pop out a little more. You can add a doorknob to your door, or just darken it in, or maybe put another piece of cloth like I'm going to do. That's up to you. I don't have a whole lot of paper at the top, but if you do, you might want to finish up the palm tree coming out the top with some big palm leaves. And we can add some palm tree texture to the trunk as well. And we can start working on that other little palm tree. Going off to the other side. You can add in some foliage if you like, which we remember from story art just means different sized lumps. Remember to put some overlapping on your leaves. Try to make them different shapes. Add some coconuts in there if you want. And when I add the lines to the trunk, because it's above the water line, above the horizon line, I'm going to curve them up.
A palm tree looks like a fly trap.
The fly trap.
Yeah, Venetian fly trap. I'm not sure what I'm doing.
Let's see. Can I
Yeah.
hold yours up? Can I take a look?
Trying to fix it, but it's not working.
A Venus fly trap.
Well, it was just like, oh, whoa.
Oh, yeah, you can just point the leaves all in the same direction. You can see on mine that this tree in particular, all the leaves are kind of pointing downward,
Right.
and spiking out all over the place.
Okay.
I can also put up our little inspirational drawing for a minute if you guys want to see that, how he does his palm trees. He does his quite shaggy. I do rather big leaf shapes, but these are kind of neat. I'll add some more texture to my leaves.
And I kind of want to access like the picture itself because I always have trouble because like I have to make your screen really small if I want to be able to draw at the same time.
I have noticed that when I try to use the fire alpaca, it takes up a lot of space, and then I can't see Betsy. And then I go,
But this, yeah, you can look him up. He's on Instagram. This guy right here.
Well, let me make it bigger because I cannot read that. Okay, Hammer.
Or I can probably just post the link in the chat box, and you might be able to just copy and paste it.
Yes,
I
thank
have
you.
to stop sharing to do that. Let me go over here and paste.
I think my palm tree is just too much looking big. This.
Yep, that helps a lot. Thank you, Betsy.
You're welcome.
Now, I downloaded the Fire Alpaca.
Mm-hmm.
What is it I'm supposed? I was using my mouse, but it is troublesome.
Yeah, it's hard with the mouse.
Yeah, usually you want to have a drawing pad.
Is that what I ordered from Amazon? I just ordered a drawing pad.
There's links in the calendar. I have a list of supplies. So I think there's a link over there.
Okay.
oh, good.
But I will check it before the next class and let you know. And if you're going to add a hammock, you just have to find another spot to anchor it to. Maybe I'll anchor it over here on this support. And we'll make a nice big curve. That hammock. And then you have to make one more curve, either deeper or shallower, so that we have a spot for the person to lay down. Doesn't matter if it hits the top of the island, because that's the farthest away. Remember, we have our little shadow trick. This is where the hammock actually is. And we don't need to put in too much to indicate that there's a person there. We can have just a nose, maybe a mouth going, ah, this is the life. Have their arm up over their eyes or across the forehead. Then put some hair sticking out. Maybe the rest of the arm going around that way. Other arm kind of draping down. Don't worry about your anatomy. I know we studied anatomy for a long time. Don't worry about that. We're just doing real basic, simple shapes to get the story across. So there's somebody in this hammock, relaxing. And if you want to add some stripes or spots to the hammock, remember to do them at an angle. Don't do them straight up and down. And if you'd like to add the fishing pole, I'm going to have mine just stuck right into the beach here.
Whoa. Are you sure it doesn't need batteries? Sure. No.
With that little turny wheel thingy that people can tell it's a fishing pole. And then a really straight line for whatever sea creature is pulling on that line. Some splashes. And then I'm going to add a couple of big, really poofy clouds in the background. So I've got one big bump, a couple of smaller bumps. But I don't want the bottom to be flat. I want it to feel like there's a breeze. So I'm going to put them at an angle on the bottom. Maybe another little cloud over here. Angle at the bottom. Following that same general direction. We have about 10 minutes left. If you happen to have some markers or colored pencils, you can whip those out and add a little bit of color. It doesn't have to be in full color. You can pick, 2 colors and just go at it with that, and it'll still look pretty good. If you don't have any colors handy, you can keep adding some bonus items. You can have little fish jumping. You can have a sailboat in the distance. You can have the sun setting or the sun up there. It can be nighttime. You can put stars and moon. You can put a little crab on the beach. You can put a cocktail of choice nearby. That's up to you. Story time, little story things in there. I do happen to have a few markers. I'm going to add a little bit of color. That was greener than I expected.
Oh yeah, hey Betsy, I want to tell you a new update came out and it fixed the bug that the last update had.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So it really was a bug and not just your computer, huh? Because we were kind of unsure.
Computer, so that you will have a. Notice we can see Karen now.
Yeah.
Your turn, Mikey.
The little details in the wood make me think that this person studied houses, like this
Yeah.
type of house.
Somebody was asking him, like, where do you get your ideas? Like, they know how to do perspective and stuff, but how do you know what to draw? And he's like, go and study houses. Use the internet. Look up a period of house you like. All down to research.
Wow.
Just about 5 minutes left.
I didn't understand it. How much time we got left?
Just about 1 more minute. And then we'll switch over to the other class.
Okay.
And draw some fairies.
Oh,
Well,
cool.
one fairy.
What type of fairy?
A flower.
A flower fairy. What type of flower?
A lily of the valley.
Lily of the Valley.
Well, never mind. I'll ask this in fairy class.
Alrighty, I'm gonna sign it. That means it's done.
That's right.
Cool.
This is what, July 1st?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
We
July
did it.
1st, 2020.
Is everyone going to show off their thing?
I was just about to ask. Let's see Kristen's. I'm gonna spotlight the video for everyone. Hey, hey, look at that cute little house.
That's good.
Oh,
I like that a lot. I like the perspective on the little blanket, that hanging blanket thing.
Yeah, I like the contour on the hammock too.
I made the
your palm leaves. They've been the challenge for me. I can't get the freaking palm leaf.
well, when you get them as good as mine, you still have work to do.
Thanks. Thanks.
Okay, who else has got one? Here we go. Let's see, Stephanie.
My-
Oh, Stephanie, yours is so
That's really neat. I liked your clouds.
Your platform is just, my platform was too flat, turned back. Yours is just right. It
I
looks
don't
has some.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip off the sucker.
Okay, Karen, what have you got for us?
Show us.
Our first time ever seeing Karen's drawings on our Zoom classes.
Wow.
Oh, look at that!
You made a nice big one. That was so smart.
Yeah, your island was bigger size than those were. So you got room.
The freaking palm leaves except once.
That was what's smart about it.
It just worked out that way.
Just worked out that way.
You never have to tell us that.
I was very happy that it worked out that way.
Yeah, that's really neat. Oh, hey, can I show off my thing?
Yeah,
From left?
share
Okay.
your screen.
Give me a second.
Oh, it's beautiful, Mikey. That's fantastic. It looks so much like Betsy.
What?
We're getting there.
Oh, good job.
Hanging over. Look at the foot hanging over, guys.
Yeah, I love
I
it.
like those.
Yeah, it's not very good foot, but I was rushing kind of to get it done.
I like the angle you put on your fishing line too. It's really bent over. It looks like
Yeah.
there's something
And it's
pulling
off the
out.
platforms.
Yes.
Thanks.
Cool.
That's actually in the actual drawing.
Oh, it is? Oh, yeah.
It is.
No, I didn't do it on mine, so.
So the rest of us kind of follow you through. Well done.
Thank you.
Fun.
Well, next week we're going to do a windmill house.
Well, fun.
So until then, I will see some of you in the next class and some of you when we draw our windmill house.